So now I would like you to have a think about adjectives to describe the floor. So the touch, if they're touching the floor, what's the floor going to be like? What adjectives could we describe the floor with? So could you pause the video now and have a think of all the different adjectives that you could come up with to describe the floor? Okay, year two, have you come up with some adjectives? Fantastic. Shall I tell you the adjectives that I came up with? Remember, we're only looking for adjectives that we could put in the green area of our zone of relevance. We don't want the orange ones, and we definitely don't want the red ones. We want lots of ambitious vocabulary. So let's have a look what I came up with. I came up with filthy and rotting. Okay, so the floor was so dirty, it was filthy. Okay, so that's a very strong adjective if something's filthy. We've got rotting, okay? The floorboards were probably rotting, they were wooden and they weren't clean. I also thought of unhygienic. Remember, we learnt the word hygiene in our history lesson. So unhygienic means that it's not clean at all. So that would be a better word. Filthy and unhygienic would be better words than dirty, wouldn't they? Okay, and then I also thought of rat-ridden. So they're full of rats, okay? There's rats all over the floor. So there's another very ambitious word, a great adjective to use to describe the floor. And then finally, I came up with mouldy. So mouldy is quite similar to rotting, isn't it? And it can be used to describe the floor. So all of these words are very ambitious words, very brilliant adjectives to use for describing the floor. And I'm sure you came up with a lot of brilliant adjectives as well to help describe the floor. And you can use some of mine as well when you're writing your expanded noun phrases. So now we've got our nouns and our adjectives for a couple of them. But what I'd like you to do now is have a go. It's your turn. Think of some adjectives to describe your nouns. So look at all of the different nouns you have for the different senses and think of 2 or 3 adjectives that you could put with each noun, okay? If you've got, say, 5 nouns for one of the senses, just maybe choose 2 and give me 2 or 3 adjectives for each. You don't have to do absolutely all of the different nouns that you thought of. Pause the video now and have a go at writing some adjectives. Okay, year 2, so have you got now your nouns and your adjectives? Fantastic. Let's now turn these into expanded noun phrases. So here we go. Let's create some expanded noun phrases. So I'm going to do with you sight, and then you're going to look at touch, and then we'll come back together to talk about the touch one. And then I'm going to leave you to go off to do smell, taste, and hearing. So what noun did we just describe using those adjectives for sight? Yes, you're right. We described the soldiers. Now, would you like to see my expanded noun phrase for the soldiers? Let's see if I've included all of the different parts. So I've got many wounded, disease-ridden soldiers. Oh, now I've got my determiner, many. I've got my 2 adjectives, wounded and disease-ridden. I've got my comma in between. And then I've got my noun, which is soldiers. So yes, I've got all of the different parts that I need for my expanded noun phrase. Now, let's have a go at touch. Could you pause the video and have a think? Remember, we described the floor. Can you come up with an expanded noun phrase for the floor using the adjectives we've just thought of? Okay, year 2, so let's see what I came up with. I came up with the rat-ridden, rotting floor. Oh, that sounds nasty, doesn't it? The rat-ridden, rotting floor. So there you go. I've got my determiner, the. I've got my 2 adjectives, rat-ridden and rotting. And I've got my noun, floor. So there we go. Did you think of something similar? Well done if you did. But if you use some of the other adjectives, they're all ambitious adjectives, they're all brilliant adjectives. So any of those adjectives in your expanded noun phrase would be excellent. So as I said, you've got your nouns and you've got all of your adjectives, and now you've got 2 expanded noun phrases that you can use. But now it's your turn, okay? So I'd like you to look at all of the different nouns and the adjectives that you have, and can you create some expanded noun phrases with those adjectives and nouns? So if you've got some more nouns and adjectives for sight, you can add to the expanded noun phrase I've already got for sight. And if you've got some more nouns and adjectives for touch, you can also add to that. But I'd also like to see your expanded noun phrases for smell, taste, and hearing. Okay, now just before I let you go, let's just recap one more time what you need in an expanded noun phrase. You need the determiner, so lots of, or many, or most, or a number, or a or the. You need 2 adjectives, so in this case it's yummy and cold with a comma in the middle. And finally, you need a noun at the end. Brilliant, Year 2. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the expanded noun phrases that you create for the hospital in Scutari when Florence Nightingale first arrives. So when you've written them, could you send them to the office so I could have a look, please? That would be excellent. And I'll see you in our next English lesson. Have a lovely rest of your day, Year 2. Bye.